Hi, everybody.
There are so many of our adoring fans in here right now. It's crazy.
Originally, the Lost Boys were gonna be younger,
Uh-huh.
like Sam and the Frog Brothers,
I like the
but then they
Frog
were like,
Brothers.
"Oh, this might be too close to Goonies."
Oh, yeah.
So, and people don't want to see young vampires; they want to see hot vampires.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't about a bunch of kids. That would not be
Yeah,
interesting to me. But I was already like, why are there so many kids in here? And it was just like him. So,
yeah.
that was a good
The
decision.
original premise, I believe, was like, what if the Lost Boys from Peter Pan were vampires?
Oh.
And then they were like, well, let's make them older.
I
So
see.
that's where the name comes from.
That's actually cool to know, like that they started with something so kind of like fairy tale and then it turned into this. Like I'm really glad they decided like no, let's make them hot. That was the right decision. I always like thought Kiefer Sutherland was cute, but I always just saw him in like 24 where he's like 1,000 years old. So it
Yeah,
was nice seeing him like actually be cute.
I love like Kiefer Sutherland from like late 80s Kiefer Sutherland, like
Yeah.
around this time.
It's like you could tell when you look at him that he was cute under all the old man face. It's like there's some good bones under there. I had never seen this movie before, and I just loved the whole vibe. Like I loved everyone's style. It made me want to
Yeah.
get a mullet.
I would be curious to know if somebody named Michael is irritated by how many times they say the name
They
Michael in
say
this
it
movie.
so much.
Yeah, I
I'll let
actually
you
was
know.
kind of browsing through trivia and
Uh-huh.
I saw one that was like the word Michael is said approximately 108 times.
Oh my
And I
god.
was like, yeah, that sounds about right.
What did you think of Star, the girl in the movie?
I actually, and it might just be because I really like the actress that plays her, I actually really love Star.
Oh, okay.
I think I don't get why she's so against being a vampire
Right.
because as somebody who likes vampires, I would be like, yeah, sure, I'll fucking be a
Yeah,
vampire.
I
I get to
know.
do whatever the fuck I want. Especially since they apparently still get to eat food
Yeah.
because they're eating, David's eating the Chinese at
Yeah.
one point, and they like drink and stuff, so I think that's kind of dumb.
Mhm.
I personally think I I would go for David over Michael.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the things she does are
Uh-huh.
dumb, but I like that she's not like your stereotypical blonde,
Mhm.
popular preppy girl.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that aspect. Although originally she was supposed to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Do
I
you
saw that in the trivia too.
Ooh.
They originally wanted. They didn't specify like who they said like in the original script or whatever. She was blonde and whatever else, and then the guy that plays Michael
Uh-huh.
had worked with Jamie Gertz, who played Star in something else,
Oh,
and he was like,
okay.
"You guys should look at her," and then they just liked her, so they were like, "Okay,
Oh,
let's
thank
go
goodness
with
for him.
it."
Yeah, it was her decision making that I was like, "Girl, why don't you want this life? It seems great." And like like you said, the fact that they get to eat real food, like that's the one
Yeah,
deal breaker for me. Like I love burgers. I would really miss like if I knew I have to live forever and never eat a hamburger again, I would be really sad. Like yeah, it was kind of dramatic when they swooped down on those like party goers and like violently bit into them and then like threw them on the bonfire. Although that was kind of funny. But like you don't have to do it that way. Like I felt like Michael was just being kind of judgy. Like I couldn't blame David at the end when like they were killing all of them and David was like, "I literally just tried to make you immortal. Like what is your problem?" And
yeah,
then Michael is kind of dumb too because they gave him. There were a lot of clues that there was something up. Like they took him through this like desert wasteland full of fog into like an abandoned castle, and
Yeah.
then they made him think he was hallucinate. Like they made him hallucinate, and then they gave him this bottle of red stuff. And as if that wasn't enough, and they were like, "Drink it, David, be one, or drink it, Michael, be one of us." And he still didn't get it. And then Star literally was like,
It's blood.
and he was like, "Haha, yeah, right." And then he just drank it with no hesitation, just drank it. I was like, "You don't just drink things that strangers give you when you don't." He didn't even smell it first or anything.
Then later, he's like, "You knew that David was a vampire,"
Yeah.
which obviously she fucking does. He
I
made her
know.
one. She lives with them in a cave.
I know.
And then he's like, "And you didn't warn me," and it's like, yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did. What I loved about this movie was it kind of skipped a lot of the like, what's wrong with this town? It's like all this weird stuff going on. Like it skipped like 45 minutes that other movies do of like, it's so weird in here. Like, oh, it's vampires. Like it skipped all the denial and went
Yeah.
right into the Frog Brothers being like, you should read this man, and then he reads it, and then he's like, oh shit, this is real.
The comic store that they film at, it's not in the same location, but that comic book store does still exist.
Oh really?
Yep, and you can go there, and they have like some of the props from the movie, like the little vampire comic.
Aww. I also really appreciated Lois Foutley when comparing her to this mom, because Sam is like, "Mom, there's vampires, like, there's proof on my shirt," and he's like covered in blood. And she's like, "You have to tell someone," like, he sounds so frantic. And she's just like, "I'm so tired of you," and doesn't believe him. And it's like, "I'm going on a date." And then,
I'm not kidding, Mom. They're coming to the house as soon as it gets dark.
Okay, stop it. Right now, just stop it.
Mom!
No, not another word. I don't believe you're doing this. I'm gonna see Max tonight and you're trying to ruin it for me.
No, I'm not.
and later, when she's on the date, she's like, "Yeah, he seemed really worried, like he seemed really adamant, but it's ridiculous." I'm like, Lois would have believed Ginger or Carl. Like, even if she didn't
Yeah.
actually believe it was vampires, she would be like, "I can tell something's bothering you. Why don't you just, we'll figure this out." But she straight up just like, she was like SMH and just like left him there. I was like, dude, your child needs help.
So many moms in
Yeah.
TVs and movies are like that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what makes Lois so great, is that she does believe her kids even when they say something that any other TV mom would be like, "You're just making that up, that's ridiculous." I was like, I had to think, what would I do if I were a mom? And it's like, I would be kind of annoyed with not Sam so much,
Mm-hmm.
who I think she does unfairly yell at a lot
Yeah.
of the time. But like, if I had a kid like Michael
Yes.
who stays out all night and then he sleeps all day, and when you ask him to do something,
One thing.
he like super fucking bratty about
I
it. Like,
know.
yeah, I'd be the same way she was. Like, I want to go out one fucking day. Like,
I know.
it won't kill you to stay home for a couple of hours.
I know. I felt for her in that moment when she was like, "I work all day. You're literally just out doing whatever the fuck. Sam is always alone. Like, I would like to go out on a date one time." Michael's just kind of dopey. Like, he's not the brightest.
Yeah, like when Star goes there to talk to him later, and then he yells at her, so she leaves.
Uh-huh.
Well, he doesn't just yell at her, I think he pushes her away too, and then she's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, fine, I'm gonna leave," and then he's like, "Oh my god, why'd you
I
leave?" Like,
know.
taking a bath. This is actually, the bath scene is
Oh my god. It's so
one
good.
of my Star's favorite part.
Uh-huh.
But I like when the dog, Nanook,
Uh-huh.
attacks Michael because Michael's thinking about attacking Sam.
Yeah.
And then Sam hears something, so he goes to check. And then Michael's hands all like ripped off.
Yeah.
and covered in blood, and he's like,
What'd you do to my dog, you asshole?
I know. I
and
love
I'm
that.
like, yeah, that would so be me.
I know, he was like, it was like, you're not my brother, I don't give a fuck about you. What did you do to my dog? Like, I was worried that the dog was gonna die. The bath.
You know, I would not recommend
I
the movie.
know, I know.
Star would also be very mad if I didn't point out that his number one favorite scene
Mm-hmm.
from the movie is the oiled up sex guy.
I thought you said the oiled up sex guy. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, I missed that. But yeah, kind of basically. Star, he's just redeemed. Tell me about the art, which I will gladly do. But like here what I'm doing in black and white is representing the soul of the movie visually portrayed as the main boys, the lost boys. Are they truly lost? My endeavor is to find them here in this art piece. And to bring honor to their memory, because I was sad when they died. Especially when you find out that they're not even like David's not even the head vampire. Like I felt kind of sad for him.
Yeah, and they're not even really that bad if you think about it, because the people that they pick on the most are the surf Nazis.
Oh yeah.
Who, if you pay attention to them when the Lost Boys aren't around, like they're shoplifting.
Yeah.
They're causing chaos, so it's like they're just doing the world a favor.
They're still, I don't know, I feel like they're mostly respectful. They're just having a good time, and like they spend a lot of time in their lair, which is really cute. And then he also didn't David didn't force Star to kill anyone, which is pretty nice. Like he's obviously a considerate, friendly person. Were you surprised when is it Max? I forgot his name already. That guy she's dating, when he ended up being the head vampire.
The ending kind of got spoiled for me before I saw it the first time.
Oh, okay. I suspected him because he was like, I'm not gonna leave until you invite me in.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's phrased very specifically. Then when he says that, the grandpa like looks at him and he's like confused, like he's realizing something.
Well, you're the man of the house, and I'm not coming in until you invite me.
You're invited.
Thanks very much.
And I was like, does the grandpa know about vampires? And then at the end you find out he does.
One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
And I'm like, well, maybe he could have said something. Another reason I think Michael's kind of a dodo is they ask him to jump down like under the train tracks, and he does it, not knowing that he can't die. And then they're all just like holding on to them, and there's like this giant chasm underneath, and the train is coming, and he's just like, this is crazy. I'm like, why would you do any of this if you think you're a regular person who can die? Like, how is he that susceptible to peer pressure? Especially considering he didn't even like these people. Like, he was just following them because he liked Star.
Stupid.
He does not think.
I assume because he was gonna get his ear pierced.
Oh my god,
Star
yeah.
ended up doing.
Uh-huh.
And he was like looking at leather jacket, or bought that leather jacket. If I join their club and I hang out with them, he'll just let me sleep with his girlfriend. That's fine.
That's how it happens. That's normal. And then I also hated when, like, after his first night with them and he wakes up and he's just like being such a dick, but he still didn't know he was a vampire. Oh, he's like, go take your bath to Sam. And then he's just like, I think he says something mean to the grandpa. He's just being mean to everyone.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's your deal, dude? Like, why are you in such a foul mood? Like, your mom doesn't even care that you were out all night. My mom would have called the police. I loved Sam. I don't think I've ever liked like a kid in a movie as much as I liked Sam. I guess he's not that young. No, I like him because he's just so like funny, I guess. He's just everything he said
Yeah.
was like hilarious. And then he's like he's not dumb. Like he's just like, okay, like I didn't believe in vampires, but now vampires is obviously the answer, so I'm gonna solve this problem.
What are you doing? I got connections.
I'm like, actually, Sam is so much smarter than Michael because he's already got like a go-to group to contact when they're having vampire problems, whereas Michael has like been more socially active, and all he's gotten done is turned into a vampire and couldn't even figure out that that's what was happening.
He still didn't figure it out after the first day.
I know.
And after he goes there and sees Star and they have sex.
Yeah, he
in
still
front of
doesn't know.
Laddie or whatever.
I know. I was like, isn't Laddie in there? Like, I was so blown away by that too, because he went over there, he's like, what's happening to me? And she was just like, oh my god, baby, I can't tell you. And he's like, what's going on? And she's like, I'm so sorry. And then he just starts having sex with her, and I'm like, you can do both. Like, make her answer the question first, and then I was like, okay, I guess they're gonna have sex, and then she'll tell him what's going on. And then I
No, he didn't
realized
care after he got this.
I realized he literally just left without ever asking again and just got home still confused. And I was like, this is the dumbest part. I'm not rooting for this guy. Like, he is so stupid.
Oh,
I know.
No. My brother says that I'm a vampire and all these things, and you can't see my reflection.
Yeah. It was.
All these other things are happening to me, but yeah, I can't be a vampire.
I don't know what's going on.
And he still doesn't figure it out until David, like, spells it out.
I know.
Now you know what we are. Now you know what you are. You'll never grow old, Michael. And you'll never die. But you must feed.
And he comes home and they tell Sam, I think I know what I am now. And it's like, what the fuck you mean you think you know?
Sam told you right away. Sam knew, like, instantly.
You're a vampire, Michael. My own brother, a goddamn shit-sucking vampire. Oh, you wait till Mom finds out, buddy.
Like, normally it's the other way around, where like the person turning into a vampire is like, I'm turning into a vampire, and no one believes them. This is the only movie I've ever seen where everyone except the person turning into a vampire gets it.
I also like in here that the vampire hunters are these two
Yes.
like, tween kids.
I don't want you going down there.
Well, I'm going.
Look, this isn't a comic book, Sam, and these guys are brutal killers.
So are the Frog Brothers.
Check me.
Like, they're so cute.
It's just such a nice change from most vampire stuff.
I wish
yeah.
we could have seen Max's reaction. Because I thought he was going to be like, I wanted to see him be like, yeah, duh, of course there's you haven't noticed? Like, those are obviously vampires. Would you have
Yeah.
done the vampire family with him? Because I think I would have. Even though he's kind of ugly.
It was all going to be so perfect, Lucy. Just like one big happy family.
I mean, you still get to be a vampire.
Yeah. Like, I think that's fine. I feel like if it had been me and he had just been straight up with me from the start and been like, I'm a vampire, I have all these like cool vampire sons, which would turn me off for a second. But then he'd be like, I would love to make you a vampire. I'd be like, okay.
Almost 20, if not 20, so it's fine.
Yeah, like you don't have to really take care of them. They're pretty self-sufficient.
My only issue with that, though, is because, like you said, he's not, like, cute or anything.
Yeah.
It's like, do I have to sleep with him?
Right.
Or...
I know, that's a concern. Because that would kind of ruin it. Yeah, I can't get this guy's face right. He looks so weird. Oh my god. I'm starting this over. I can't look at this. Ah!
I don't know if you noticed, but the antlers
Uh-huh.
that pierce David, actually don't go through his heart.
I did notice that.
And there is a reason for that. That wasn't like a mistake. They
Oh.
were originally going to have a sequel
Oh.
called The Lost Girls,
Aw.
where he was still alive, and then he made like a female vampire. I'm gonna say harem.
Oh.
That might not be, the correct word.
But that sets the tone.
But then they never made it.
Aw.
And then like 20 years later, they did make a comic book version of it,
Uh-huh.
which I have not read.
Interesting.
I don't know if it was gonna be exactly like how the sequel was going to be, because they came out with these. I think it was like 4 different Lost Boys comics that they were like 4 different stories because they were gonna make a sequel.
Uh-huh.
And then like a different sequel, not the Lost Girls one, and then they were like, well, we'll make this long abandoned Lost Girls idea.
So, when you were watching it, were you sad that Michael decided to kill them all?
Yeah, I like the Lost Boys more than I like Michael.
Yeah,
So.
same. I like how every vampire movie has like a little bit its own adaptation on what's allowed and what isn't. And I do like this a little better than the Vampire Diaries, like in terms of vampire rules and restrictions, because it got to a point in Vampire Diaries where it felt like, okay, now you're just making shit up to make it so that the story keeps going. Like, we're about to kill Klaus, but then now we can't kill him because then everyone will die. Like, it's like, okay, all right. Kat's like, I've got some thoughts. I have some things to say. Okay, well, on that note, bye everyone.